Hello guys, so in this video we're going to walk through how to create a daily journal and habits tracker inside of Notion. And just for a little context, I've tried a bunch of different trackers, systems. I found a lot of them clunky, ugly, awkward, or just didn't click for me. I've tried Evernote, I've tried Airtable, I've tried Apple Notes, I've tried Drive, and I struggled to actually stick to most of those. This is the first one where I was like, oh, I get it. It clicks and it actually just is a kick ass journal. So I'm super stoked on Notion. With that in mind, let's dive into how do you actually build out a journal and tracker in here that will work really well for you on a daily basis. So, first things first is up in the top right here, you're going to want to create a new database. So, boom. So, we'll call this daily journal. You can see I've already done it, but I just want you guys to actually see step by step what is it going to look like. So, if you hit Control Command Space, then we can add a sweet emoji. Sick. Awesome. So, from here, I'm going to create a new view, calendar view. So, let's just call it calendar. Done. Boom. All right. So why did I create a calendar view? What this is going to do, what this is going to help us do is every time we create a journal entry, visually on this page, we will see a little icon for each day. It'll pop up kind of like a calendar invite would, and you can see that you actually did your journal. So it basically acts as accountability and feedback. Now that you have a calendar, second thing is creating what is the template that you're going to use every single day to be consistent. That way, this is a habit, a routine, and there's structure to it. So, with that in mind, you hit the down arrow, you hit new template, and let's call it my first journal template. Sure, perfect, great. So, in it, by default, all it has is like white space down here. So, let me open this up. The default template is really just a blank page, pretty boring with date. So what we can do first is add some habits into it by hitting checkbox. I'll leave that one as empty. Let's add one more checkbox. Boom. Checkbox one, great. And we'll move the date back up to the top. So these we can rename as what are the habits that you want to track every morning. So for me, it's a morning walk. I got to go walk. And then for this, morning breath work as well, just so I can have accountability to myself that I actually did it. What's maybe one more? So checkbox will go into exercise. Great. Did I actually go out and lift today or at least have some cardio? Cool. So you can have these as your checkboxes. Bang, bang, bang. Basically check those off. And then here's where we actually create the journal prompt itself. So the slash function inside of Notion allows you to pick a bunch of different things. One of them is H. The H function is just for heading. And there's 1, 2, and 3. 1 is the biggest, 2 is medium, 3 is small. I like number 2. So let's just say intentions for the day. First thing is going to be, what are you grateful for? Classic. What are your priorities for today? I like to say 3 or less, because if you have more than 3, you don't actually have priorities. And then the next thing is going to be what would make today successful? Like what would allow you to actually enjoy this day? So, what would make today a success? Boom. And then we can do another one, slash H2. Let's call this reflections. And we'll say what worked well. Boom, boom. What did not work well? What did I learn? So this is our template that we created. I'll put a divider in between these two just to kind of keep it clean and have it look nice. And you can get rid of some space right here if you'd like. So now we have a nice divider between them, and this template looks pretty solid. So here's the name of the template. I'm going to go back now, back to the database. So, there's 2 formats here. There's a table view and a calendar view. Let's do our first journal entry. So if we hit new, this is my first journal template. Boom. You'll see that it added all the prompts down here and we can fill it out. So today is the 6th. Great. Yep. Did that. Still have not done that. Going to go out after this. You know, you can fill in what am I grateful for? Basically, let me get a little space between these two. I think it'll work a little bit better if there's actually space, so I can adjust the template later. But what you guys might have noticed is that the bullet point function didn't work right here when they were too close. They were kind of like, I don't know, interconnected or something. So if you need to put a little bit of space, you can. So you could say sunshine, organic food, you know, another day alive, whatever you want to put in here. Priorities for the day, knock out this YouTube video. Cool thing is I actually, for the priorities, I like to do a checkbox. So if you go boom, to-do list, record and post YT video, which is what we're literally doing right now. Basically, we're going to go hit the gym and call a friend. Perfect. Great. So we already knocked out that. We're going to go do that. What would make today a success? I could fill that out later. And then at the end of the day, somewhere in the evening, we'll come in here to the reflections tab and actually do it. Now this is where it gets cool. You can see the journal entry actually populated here, and it's also in the table as well. So over time, you're going to have this big table of journal entries, and you can see your habits. Did I hit them? Let's maybe reorganize this a bit by date. So date, morning walk, morning breath work, exercise, and you can start to kind of look through your month and be like, hey, how consistent have I actually been on these habits in terms of the specific habits here? And then the calendar view at least lets you know, did I at least pull up in the journal that day and put an entry in? Because here's my entry as you can see it. And then every single day that'll hold us accountable. So that is how to create a Notion daily journal in 10 minutes or less. All right, see you guys in the next one. Peace.